Book 9, Part 1 of the Aeneid. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Reading by Lars Rolander. While these affairs in distant places passed, the various Ires Juno sends with haste, to find bold Turnus, who with anxious thought the secret shade of his great grandsire sought. Retir'd alone, she found the daring man, and op'd her rosy lips, and thus began: "What none of all the gods could grant thy vows, that Turnus this auspicious day bestows. Aeneas, gone to seek th' Arcadian prince, has left the Trojan camp without defence, and, short of succours there, employs his pains in parts remote to raise the Tuscan swains. Now snatch an hour that favours thy designs, unite thy forces, and attack their lines." This said, on equal wings she pois'd her weight, and form'd a radiant rainbow in her flight. The Daunian hero lifts his hands, eyes, and thus invokes the goddess as she flies: "Iris, the grace of heav'n, what pow'r divine Has sent thee down thro' dusky clouds to shine? See, they divide; immortal day appears, And glitt'ring planets dancing in their spheres. With joy these happy omens I obey, And follow to the war the god that leads the way." Thus having said, as by the brook he stood, He scoop'd the water from the crystal flood. Then with his hands the drops to heav'n he throws, And loads the pow'rs above with offer'd vows. Now march the bold confederates thro' the plain, Well horsed, well clad, a rich and shining train. Messapus leads the van, and in the rear The sons of Tyrrheus in bright arms appear. In the main battle, with his flaming crest, The mighty Turnus tow'rs above the rest. Silent they move, majestically slow, Like ebbing Nile, or Ganges in his flow. The Trojans view the dusty cloud from far, And the dark menace of the distant war. Caicus from the rampire saw it rise, Black'ning the fields, and thick'ning thro' the skies. Then to his fellows thus aloud he calls: "What rolling clouds, my friends, approach the walls? Arm, arm, and man the works; prepare your spears And pointed darts; the Latian host appears." Thus warn'd, they shut their gates, with shouts ascend The bulwarks, and secure their foes attend. For their wise general, with foreseeing care, Had charged them not to tempt the doubtful war, Nor, tho' provoked, in open fields advance, But close within their lines attend their chance. Unwilling, yet they keep the strict command, And sorely await in arms the hostile band. The fiery Turnus flew before the rest; A piebald steed of Thracian strain he press'd. His helm of massy gold, and crimson was his crest. With 20 horse to second his designs, An unexpected foe, he fac'd the lines. "Is there," he said, "in arms, who bravely dare His leader honour, and his danger share?" Then spurring on, his brandish'd dart he threw, In sign of war. Applauding shouts ensue. Amaz'd to find a dastard race that run Behind the rampires, and the battle shun, He rides around the camp with rolling eyes, And stops at every post, and every passage tries. So roams the nightly wolf about the fold, Wet with descending show'rs, and stiff with cold. He howls for hunger, and he grins for pain; His gnashing teeth are exercis'd in vain, And impotent of anger finds no way In his distended paws to grasp the prey. The mothers listen, but the bleating lambs Securely swig the dug beneath the dams. Thus ranges eager Turnus o'er the plain, Sharp with desire, and furious with disdain. So weighs each passage with a piercing sight, To force his foes in equal field to fight. Thus while he gazes round, at length he spies where, fenc'd with strong redoubts, their navy lies. Close underneath the walls the washing tide secures from all approach this weaker side. He takes the wish'd occasion, fills his hand with ready fires, and shakes a flaming brand. Urg'd by his presence, every soul is warm'd, and every hand with kindled fires is arm'd. From the fir'd pines the scattering sparkles fly; fat vapours mix'd with flames involve the sky. What pow'r, O Muses, could avert the flame which threaten'd in the fleet the Trojan name? Tell; for the fact, thro' length of time obscure, Is hard to faith, yet shall the fame endure. 'Tis said that when the chief prepar'd his flight, And fell'd his timber from Mount Ida's height, the grandam goddess then approach'd her son, And with a mother's majesty begun. "Grant me," she said, "the sole request I bring, Since conquer'd heav'n has own'd you for its king. On Ida's brows, for ages past, there stood, With firs and maples fill'd, a shady wood; And on the summit rose a sacred grove, Where I was worshipp'd with religious love. Those woods, that holy grove, my long delight, I gave the Trojan prince to speed his flight. Now, fill'd with fear, on their behalf I come: Let neither winds o'erset, nor waves entomb The floating forests of the sacred pine, But let it be their safety to be mine." Then thus replied her awful son, who rolls The radiant stars, and heav'n and earth controls: "How dare you, mother, endless date demand For vessels moulded by a mortal hand? What then is fate? Shall bold Aeneas ride, Of safety certain, on th' uncertain tide? Yet what I can, I grant. When wafted o'er, the chief is landed on the Latian shore, Whatever ships escape the raging storms, At my command shall change their fading forms To nymphs divine, and plow the wat'ry way, Like Dotis and the daughters of the sea. To seal this sacred vow, by Styx he swore The lake of liquid pitch, the dreary shore, And Phlegethon's innavigable flood, And the black regions of his brother god. He said, and shook the skies with his imperial nod. And now at length the number'd hours were come, Prefix'd by fate's irrevocable doom, When the great mother of the gods was free To save her ships, and finish Jove's decree. First, from the quarter of the morn there sprung A light that sign'd the heavens, and shots along. Then from a cloud, fring'd round with golden fires, Were timbrels heard, and Berecynthian choirs. And last, a voice with more than mortal sounds Both hosts in arm oppos'd, with equal horror wounds. "O Trojan race, your needless aid forbear, And know my ships are my peculiar care. With greater ease the bold Rutulian may With hissing brands attempt to burn the sea. Then singe my sacred pines; but you may charge, Loos'd from your crooked anchors, launch at large. Exalted each a nymph, forsake the sand, And swim the seas at Cybele's command." No sooner had the goddess ceas'd to speak, When lo! th' obedient ships their hawsers break; And, strange to tell, like dolphins in the main, They plunge their prows, and dive and spring again. As many beauteous maids the billows sweep, As rode before tall vessels on the deep. The foes, surpris'd, with wonder stood aghast. Messapus curb'd his fiery coursers' haste. Old Tiber roar'd, and, raising up his head, Call'd back his waters to their oozy bed. Turnus alone, undaunted, bore the shock, And with these words his trembling troops bespoke: "These monsters for the Trojans' fate are meant, And are, by Jove, for black presages sent." He takes the cowards' last relief away, For fly they cannot, and, constrain'd to stay, Must yield unfought a base inglorious prey. The liquid half of all the globe is lost; Heav'n shuts the seas, and we secure the coast. Theirs is no more than that small spot of ground which myriads of our martial men surround. Their fates I fear not, or vain oracles. 'Twas given to Venus they should cross the seas, and land secure upon the Latian plains. Their promis'd hour is past, and mine remains. 'Tis in the fate of Turnus to destroy, with sword and fire, the faithless race of Troy. Shall such affronts as these alone inflame the Grecian brothers and the Grecian name? My cause and theirs is one, a fatal strife, And final ruin for a ravish'd wife. Was't not enough that, punish'd for the crime, They fell, but will they fall a second time? One would have thought they paid enough before, To curse the costly sex, and durst offend no more. Can they securely trust their feeble wall? A slight partition, a thin interval, betwixt their fate and them, when Troy, tho' built By hands divine, yet perish'd by their guilt. Lend me, for once, my friends, your valiant hands, To force from out their lines these dastard bands. Less than 1,000 ships will end this war, Nor Vulcan needs his fated arms prepare. Let all the Tuscans, all th' Arcadians join, Nor these nor those shall frustrate my design. Let them not fear the treasons of the night, The robb'd Palladium, the pretended flight. Our onset shall be made in open light; No wooden engine shall their town betray. Fires they shall have around, but fires by day. No Grecian babes before their camp appear, Whom Hector's arms detain'd to the 10th tardy year. Now, since the sun is rolling to the west, Give we the silent night to needful rest. Refresh your bodies, and your arms prepare; The morn shall end the small remains of war. The post of honour to Messapus falls, To keep the nightly guards, to watch the walls, To pitch the fires at distances around, And close the Trojans in their scanty ground. Twice 7 Rutulian captains ready stand, And twice 700 horse these chiefs command. All clad in shining arms the works invest, Each with a radiant helm and waving crest. Stretch'd at their length, they press the grassy ground; They laugh, they sing, the jolly bowls go round. With lights and cheerful fires renew the day, And pass the wakeful night in feasts and play. The Trojans from above their foes beheld, And with arm'd legions all the rampires fill'd. Seiz'd with affright, their gates they first explore, Join works to works, with bridges tow'r to tow'r. Thus all things needful for defence abound. Mnestheus and brave Seresthus walk the round, Commission'd by their absent prince to share The common danger, and divide the care. The soldiers draw their lots, and, as they fall, By turns relieve each other on the wall. Nigh where the foes their utmost guards advance, To watch the gate was warlike Nisus' chance. His father Hyrtacus of noble blood, His mother was a huntress on the wood, And sent him to the wars. Well could he bear His lance in fight, and dart the flying spear; But better skill'd unerring shafts to send. Beside him stood Euryalus his friend. Euryalus, then, whom the Trojan host No fairer face or sweeter air could boast. Scarce had the down to shade his cheeks begun. One was their care, and their delight was one. One common hazard in the war they shared, And now were both by choice upon the guard. Then Nisus thus: "Or do the gods inspire This warmth, or make we gods of our desire? A gen'rous ardour boils within my breast, Eager of action, enemy to rest. This urges me to fight, and fires my mind To leave a memorable name behind. Thou seest the foes secure, how faintly shine Their scatter'd fires; the most in sleep supine. Along the ground an easy conquests lie; The wakeful few a fuming flagon ply, All hush'd around. Now hear what I revolve, A thought unripe, and scarcely yet resolv'd. Our absent prince both camp and council mourn. by message both would hasten his return. If they confer what I demand on thee, for fame is recompense enough for me. Methinks beneath yon hill I have espied a way that safely will my passage guide." Euryalus stood listening while he spoke, with love of praise and noble envy struck. Then to his ardent friend exposed his mind: "All this alone, and leaving me behind! Am I unworthy, Nisus, to be join'd? Thinkest thou I can share of glory yield, Or send thee unassisted to the field? Not so: my father taught my childhood arms, Born in a siege, and bred among alarms. Nor is my youth unworthy of my friend, Nor of the heav'n born hero I attend. The thing call'd life with ease I can disclaim, And think it oversold to purchase fame." Then Nisus thus: "Alas! thy tender years Would minister new matter to my fears. So may the gods, who view this friendly strife, Restore me to thy lov'd embrace with life. Condemn'd to pay my vows, as sure I trust, This thy request is cruel and unjust. But if some chance, as many chances are, And doubtful hazards in the deeds of war, If one should reach my head, there let it fall, And spare thy life, I would not perish all. Thy bloomy youth deserves a longer date. Live thou to mourn thy love's unhappy fate, To bear my mangled body from the foe, Or buy it back, and funeral rites bestow. Or, if hard fortune shall those dues deny, Thou canst at least an empty tomb supply. O let not me the widow's tears renew, Nor let a mother's curse my name pursue. Thy pious parents, who, for love of thee, Forsook the coast of friendly Sicily, Her age committing to the seas and wind, When ev'ry weary matron stay'd behind. To this Euryalus: "You plead in vain, And but protract the cause you cannot gain. No more delays, but haste." With that he wakes The nodding watch; each of his office takes. The guard reliev'd, the gen'rous couple went To find the consul at the royal tent. All creatures else forgot their daily care, And sleep, the common gift of nature, share; Except the Trojan peers, who wakeful sate In nightly council for th' endanger'd state. They vote a message to their absent chief, Shew their distress, and beg a swift relief. Amid the camp a silent seat they chose, Remote from clamour, and secure from foes. On their left arms their ample shields they bear, The right reclin'd upon the bending spear. Now Nisus and his friend approach the guard, And beg admission, eager to be heard. Th' affair important, not to be deferr'd, Ascanius bids 'em be conducted in, Ord'ring the more experienced to begin. Then Nisus thus: "Ye fathers, lend your ears, Nor judge our bold attempt beyond our years. The foe, securely drench'd in sleep and wine, Neglect their watch; the fires but thinly shine; And where the smoke in cloudy vapours flies, Cov'ring the plain, and curling to the skies, Betwixt two paths, which at the gate divide, Close by the sea, a passage we have spied, Which will our way to great Aeneas guide. Expect each hour to see him safe again, Loaded with spoils of foes in battle slain. Snatch we the lucky minute while we may, Nor can we be mistaken in the way. For, hunting in the vale, we both have seen The rising turrets, and the stream between, And know the winding course with ev'ry ford." He ceas'd, and old Alethes took the word: "Our country gods, in whom our trust we place, Will yet from ruin save the Trojan race, While we behold such dauntless worth appear In dawning youth, and souls so void of fear." Then into tears of joy the father broke; Each in his longing arms by turns he took, Panted, and paus'd, and thus again he spoke: "Ye brave young men, what equal gifts can we In recompense of such desert decree? The greatest, sure, and best you can receive, The gods and your own conscious worth will give. The rest our grateful general will bestow, And young Ascanius till his manhood owe. And I, whose welfare in my father lies," Ascanius adds, "by the great deities, by my dear country, by my household gods, by hoary Vesta's rites and dark abodes, adjure you both, on you my fortune stands, that and my faith I plight into your hands. Make me but happy in his safe return, whose wonted presence I can only mourn. Your common gift shall 2 large goblets be, of silver, wrought with curious imagery, and high embossed, which, when old Priam reign'd, my conqu'ring sire at sack'd Areceiba gain'd. And more, 2 tripods cast in antique mould, with 2 great talents of the finest gold; beside a costly bowl engrav'd with art, which Dido gave, when first she gave her heart. But if in conquer'd Italy we reign, when spoils by lot the victor shall obtain, thou saw'st the courser by proud Turnus press'd, that Nisus and his arms and nodding crest, and shield from chance exempt, shall be thy share: 12 lab'ring slaves, 12 handmaids young and fair, all clad in rich attire, and train'd with care. And last, a Latian field with fruitful plains, and a large portion of the king's domains. But thou, whose years are more to mine allied, no fate my vow'd affection shall divide. From thee, heroic youth, be fully mine; take full possession; all my soul is thine. One faith, one fame, one fate shall both attend, my life's companion and my bosom friend. My peace shall be committed to thy care, and to thy conduct my concerns inware." Then thus the young Euryalus replied: "Whatever fortune, good or bad, betide, The same shall be my age as now my youth; No time shall find me wanting to my truth. This only from your goodness let me gain, And, this ungranted, all rewards are vain. Of Priam's royal race my mother came, And sure the best that ever bore the name; Whom neither Troy nor Sicily could hold, From me departing, but o'erspent and old. My fate she follow'd, ignorant of this; Whatever danger, neither parting kiss, Nor pious blessing taking, her I leave, And in this only act of all my life deceive. By this right hand and conscious night I swear, My soul so sad a farewell could not bear. Be you her comfort, fill my vacant place, Permit me to presume so great a grace, Support her age, forsaken and distress'd, That hope alone will fortify my breast." Against the worst of fortunes and of fears, He said, the mov'd assistants melt in tears. Then thus Ascanius, wonderstruck to see That image of his filial piety: "So great beginnings, in so green an age, Exact the faith which I again engage. Thy mother all the dues shall justly claim Creusa had, and only want the name. Whatever event thy bold attempt shall have, 'Tis merit to have borne a son so brave. Now by my head, a sacred oath I swear, My father us'd it, what returning here, Crown'd with success, I for thyself prepare, That, if thou fail, shall thy lov'd mother share." He said, and, weeping while he spoke the word, From his broad belt he drew a shining sword, Magnificent with gold, Lycaon made, And in an ivory scabbard sheathed the blade. This was his gift: great Mnestheus gave his friend A lion's hide, his body to defend; And good Alethes furnish'd him beside With his own trusty helm, of temper tried. Thus arm'd they went. The noble Trojans wait Their issuing forth, and follow to the gate. With pray'rs and vows, above the rest appears Ascanius, manly far beyond his years, And messages committed to their care, Which all in winds were lost, and flitting air. The trenches first they pass'd, then took their way Where their proud foes in pitch'd pavilions lay. To many fatal, ere themselves were slain, They found the careless host dispers'd upon the plain, Who, gorg'd and drunk with wine, supinely snore. Unharness'd chariots stand along the shore, Amidst the wheels and reins, the goblets by, a medley of debauch and war they lie. Observing Nisus, shew'd his friend the sight: "Behold a conquest gain'd without a fight! Occasion offers, and I stand prepar'd. There lies our way; be thou upon the guard, And look around, while I securely go, And hew a passage thro' the sleeping foe." Softly he spoke; then striding took his way, With his drawn sword, where haughty Rhamnes lay, His head rais'd high on tapestry beneath, And, heaving from his breast, he drew his breath. A king and prophet by King Turnus lov'd, But fate by prescience cannot be remov'd. Him and his sleeping slaves he slew; then spies Where Remus with his rich retinue lies. His armour-bearer first, and next he kills His charioteer, intrench'd betwixt the wheels; And his lov'd horses last invades their lord. Full on his neck he drives the fatal sword. The gasping head flies off; a purple flood Flows from the trunk, that welters in the blood, Which, by the spurning heels dispers'd around, The bed besprinkles, and bedews the ground. Lamus the bold, and Lamyrus the strong, he slew, And then Serranus fair and young. From dice and wine the youth retir'd to rest, And puff'd the fumy god from out his breast. Even then he dreamt of drink and lucky play, More lucky, had it lasted till the day. The famish'd lion thus, with hunger bold, O'erleaps the fences of the nightly fold, And tears the peaceful flocks with silent awe. Trembling they lie, and pant beneath his paw. Nor with less rage Euryalus employs The wrathful sword, or fewer foes destroys. But on th' ignoble crowd his fury flew; He Fadus, Hebesus, and Rhoetus slew. Oppress'd with heavy sleep the former fell; But Rhoetus, wakeful, and observing all, Behind a spacious jar he slink'd for fear. The fatal iron found, and reach'd him there; For, as he rose, it pierc'd his naked side, And reeking thence return'd in crimson dyed. The wound pours out a stream of wine and blood; The purple soul comes floating in the flood. Now, where Messapus quarter'd they arrive. The fires were fainting there, and just alive. The warrior horses, tied in order, fed. Nisus observ'd the discipline, and said: "Our eager thirst of blood may both betray, And see the scatter'd streaks of dawning day. Foe to nocturnal thefts, no more, my friend! Here let our glutted execution end. A lane thro' slaughter'd bodies we have made." The bold Euryalus, tho' loth, obey'd. Of arms and arras, and of plate, they find A precious load; but these they leave behind. Yet, fond of gaudy spoils, the boy would stay To make the rich caparison his prey, Which on the steed of conquer'd Rhamnes lay. Nor did his eyes less longingly behold The girdle belt, with nails of burnish'd gold. This present Caedicus the rich bestow'd On Remulus, when friendship first they vow'd; And, absent, join'd in hospitable ties, He, dying, to his heir bequeath'd the prize. Till, by the conqu'ring Ardean troops oppress'd, He fell, and they the glorious gift possess'd. These glitt'ring spoils, now made the victor's gain, He to his body suits, but suits in vain. Messapus' helm he finds among the rest, And laces on, and wears the waving crest. Proud of their conquest, prouder of their prey, They leave the camp, and take the ready way. Book 9 Part 1 Lars Rolander